This is Nigeria on a firmer ground towards lasting peace and progress. President Muhammadu Buhari rode to power on the strength of three simple promises: economic resurgence through diversification, fight against corruption, and improved security. To grow our economy, we must produce what we consume. How can we, when our borders are porous and our producers unprotected? How can we, when we allow ours to be a dumping ground for all nations? This was the cry until the change came. He inherited a country that had little infrastructure to show for the massive funds raked in from previous years of oil boom, but immediately began the task of completing old rail and road projects and starting new ones, reviving abandoned power projects, developing affordable housing projects across the country, and commencing long overdue repairs and upgrades of our sea and airports. All of this in spite of a prolonged decline in crude oil prices. So, in spite of a leaner pause from lower oil revenue, the Buhari administration has in the last 4 years been doing far more with less.
Look at roads, for instance. By the time this administration came, the roads had virtually collapsed all over the country. Federal roads particularly were in terrible states. But as we speak now, the Minister for Power, Works and Housing tells the Federal Executive Council that there is no single state in the country where one major federal road is not ongoing. That's a positive development. So you have roads happening everywhere. And alongside with roads are bridges, are culverts, and all other ancillary developments. In almost every part of the country, you have such projects ongoing. You have the second Niger Bridge, which they had played politics with for so many years. Now that bridge is, we can say it's up and running. And I'm sure before this administration exits, if that bridge is not finished, it will have gone very, very far. And you also have railway. Railway had died in Nigeria before the administration came. You will see that the Abuja-Kaduna rail line that was conceived by the Obasanjo administration was only completed by this administration and has been up and running for almost 2 years now. And then you have Lagos-Calabar project, you have Kaduna to Maiduguri project. In a couple of years, you will find rail straddling every part of the country. That's infrastructure, and you know the effect it will have on the economy.
For the economy to thrive, to do well, infrastructure needed to be put in place. You are talking about power, which we inherited at about 2,300 megawatts of availability. Now we have hit about 9,000 megawatts, and soon we are going to 10,000 megawatts. And the supply to the homes, about 5,000. About 2,000 is not taken as we speak now. So we have more than doubled power supply to homes and factories all across the country. This is a major achievement.
I think one of the major things that the president did in the area of economic development is to emphasize the importance of infrastructural development. And so increased very significantly the portion of the budget that went into capital spending, which is essentially is infrastructure, to 30%. And between the time he took office 2015 and now, when we've had 3 budgets implemented, we've seen a total of 3.5 trillion naira that has been spent on infrastructural development, ensuring that we fix our railways, restore the railways, revitalize the railways, depending on the specific examples.
It is the railway that facilitates and engineers real economic growth, because cost of transportation is highly reduced. Conserving the capacity of our road is also empowered, because by the time you move articulated vehicles, high capacity vehicles off the road, you are also giving longevity to our roads. So you can now use roads for what it is meant for leisure. You are not competing with long vehicles. And of course, you are also preserving the capacity of the roads themselves, So, and of course, transportation, both for goods and personnel and human beings, become even cheaper.
But it has also not forgotten the people who were instrumental to the president defeating an incumbent who not only had the all-powerful federal might at his disposal, but was also running on the platform of a party that had been in power at the center for 16 years. Within the first year of assuming office, the new government launched the type of social welfare scheme that had never been seen before in the country. It is the Social Investment Program, which has since been tagged the largest and most ambitious in Sub-Saharan Africa.
Let's start from the very motivation behind the Social Investment Program. Now, of course, recently the president during the Iftar dinner, spoke about how the vice president has driven the process, and how it has been a very successful program, commending the vice president. But the flip side of that story is that the president himself is actually a major motivator for the program. Many people may not know that while he was out of office, he was the chairman of the Castina Foundation. And one of the things that the Castina Foundation did successfully under his chairmanship was to provide, microcredits to petty traders, small business owners in Castina. So the point is that the president himself has a very deep commitment to ensuring that ordinary Nigerians, petty traders, small scale business people are helped, give them some kind of support.
The program has 4 components targeted at different category of people across the country. They are Homegrown School Feeding Program, HGSFP, Conditional Cash Transfer, CCT, Government Enterprise and Empowerment Program, GEP, which is further broken down to 3 elements: market money, farmer money, and trader money, and Empower Job Scheme. The Homegrown School Feeding Program began as a pilot scheme in a few states, but has now been extended to 35 states. The idea is to deliver 1 meal a day to young school children, with a specific focus on increasing enrollment, as well as reduce the incidence of malnutrition among the poor. It has also succeeded in empowering community women.
The National Homegrown School Feeding, where today we are feeding over 9.5 million primary school pupils in 31 states. The 34th state was Ekiti. It's the same thing. That how do we encourage our people to send their children to school? How do we deal with the problem of out of school, the crisis of out of school children? And how do we even help the students to battle the problem of stunting? Which, if not taken care of at that early age, can actually be a permanent deficit in the growth of the children, and of course affects their nutrition. So the homegrown school feeding addresses all of these problems, coming from the point of view of how can government help the ordinary people who won't be able to send their children to private school.